Hello and welcome to the Understanding Narcissists YouTube channel. This video will probably be the most overlooked, long overdue video, the topic that you could imagine, that I can think of. Now, I will say it's not overlooked because I have been thinking about it. I really just didn't want to cover it because it's very uncomfortable. And it should be relatively brief, but it's a huge topic. Definitely an elephant in the room kind of thing. And it's narcissists and sex and intimacy. The first thing I want to say is that I have never been intimate with a narcissist. So it begs the question, who am I to talk about it? Unfortunately, I have been in the position repeatedly to see how narcissists sort of carry on the romance, I guess. How they regard physical intimacy and sexual relations. And it's anybody who's been around a narcissist or intimate with a narcissist knows that is an extremely uncomfortable and reviling topic, because it is something that is so prominent and also prevalent in every narcissist. Every narcissist is going to have this, by the way. So this is a narcissistic criteria, at least for me, that how they regard romance, and particularly physical intimacy. So let me start off by saying I've talked about romance before, and romance being used as a tool. Romance being related to love, and their whole relationship to it, how they use it. Love is something, real love is something, as I say, they are uncomfortable with. Romance is something they can more readily use to manipulate other people. Narcissists can pretend to be in love. They can also use platonic love, but it's really romance that they try to drive all the way home. That's the thing that is necessary for them to be able to get a supply. Because let's be honest here, they're human, they have physiological needs. So sex is going to be on top of all of that. That's going to be a big thing. But the thing about sex is that for a narcissist, it is so much about domination and control and being able to do whatever they want whenever they want, that the partner will just have to be compliant with that. And compliant is really not the word. It's really totally they have to bend to the narcissist's will under any and all circumstance. So they really do become sexual victims, and most likely victims of sexual assault within their own home. And that's because narcissists, those things cannot have boundaries. There cannot be boundaries for a narcissist. So they have to have everything they want in that arena. They have to own that entire thing. So there is an element to which narcissists want to make you their sexual slaves. There may be differences naturally between men and women. But whatever sex means to them, it's going to be an all-powerful tool to control. And it's also a vulnerability. They have to have it, or it's a requirement. They have to have it, or their control is insufficient. Now, their control is never sufficient. They never have enough control, but it's one of those key requirements they have to have established right away, is that they get what they want sexually when they want it. And they're going to manipulate you sexually. That's why in any romantic setting, in the romantic sense, they want to get into bed really fast. They need to have all of that going on as soon as possible, because that is another thing they have over you. That is a mark that they own you. And and as I say, it's a necessary one. It has to be there. If it's not there, if that can't work, the relationship's not going to work. Not really. I'm not saying that there can't be relationships with a narcissist, romantic relationships with a narcissist that are not highly sexual. It's just that they have to have some kind of avenue of sexual control. Now, this begs a further question, which is why? Well, you can imagine how sex becomes as a core, physiological need, how it plays into the equation. It's kind of like money, where it's there, has to be accounted for, and so they're going to account for it, and they're going to control every bit of it. It has to be all them. That makes sense. The thing that doesn't make sense is their obsession with it and why it is such a big deal. Why their relationship with sex is so dysfunctional. You think the relationship with everything is dysfunctional. It's coming within them. It's emanating from within them. Its origin is from within them. However, I have had a sneaking suspicion that an element to narcissists, and I'm not saying it's a necessary one, I'm not saying it's one that's always present, but one that I've always had a sneaking suspicion of is sexual abuse. Sexual abuse in their upbringing. Because to me, and to other people, which I think I should cite, and I need to make that more to substantiate my claims, sex falls into the category of the kind of abuse that could form a narcissist. It's the kind of thing that would, first of all, it's terribly traumatic and terribly destructive, but it would also be a powerful agent in producing a narcissist, to be a powerful driver in my opinion, directing them towards that behavior in those formative years when they're children. It's always been kind of a missing piece of the puzzle for me, because it's something I've never been able to verify. I have read about it before, but I have not been able to find it in any abundance, any really to where it's so indicative and suggestive that I could say that is a strong driving factor in narcissism. That being said, I don't know how many, but I think a number of narcissists have been sexually abused. But as I say, I can't prove it. So that is just something I want to throw out there. If I could get more information, or if anybody else knows more about that, I would like to know about it, because I think it would shed a lot of light into narcissism. The thing about narcissists is it's really hard to figure out what's going on with them, because they're not really well documented. They're hard to document. It's hard to figure out what they've done, what they know, how they feel, what their upbringing was. Narcissists rarely talk about it. So that can be a big and lingering factor that sort of remains beneath the surface, where you can't find it. And they're certainly not going to tell you about that. But I've often wondered, with behavior I've seen in a lot of narcissists, what's going on there, and their obsession of sex. Because I do think some of them have an obsession with sex, and it's really it seems to correlate with sexual addiction. And that's something I also want to touch on in this video, which is their issues with sex that I feel like, aside from physiological need, drive them to sort of own sex to the point that they are in control of it again. And my other observation, which I can't verify, but this one I'm certain is true, is how unfaithful they are. I have never seen a narcissist I didn't think was cheating on their partner. I feel like that is always in their pocket, that is always present, that is always there. Even if they're not doing it in that moment within a period of time, they're going to, or they have before. Narcissists need partners. They need that adulation, and they really, I think they're able to satisfy their sexual needs and get that little bit of adulation that they need, that they may not get from their primary partner, with, I don't want to say cheap sex, but I guess cheap sex. Stuff that or maybe, now I want to say something. It's not that it can't be an ongoing relationship. It's just that it's not going to be one with a primary enabler. It's not going to be like the enabler's relationship. But again and again, I've seen how narcissists, how defiant they are and how resentful they are of their enabler, how angry they are at whoever is taking care of them, because narcissists are dependent, that they are somehow able to get back at them by cheating on them. So, and here's the thing you have to understand too, which is going to sound silly, and I don't want this video to run on too long, but narcissists cheat on everybody. They're cheating on everybody. Anybody they have a relationship with, even if it's not a physical relationship, they lie to you. They say bad things about you behind your back. They're doing all kinds of things where they have that contradiction where they're on the one hand they need you and they resent that and they hate it and they totally skewer you when you're not around, and they try to undermine you and subvert whatever you're doing and destroy it. And that's where I think the cheating factor just falls in naturally, because, well, if you're sleeping with them, of course they're going to be sleeping with somebody else. Of course. It only makes sense. Now, that is something I'm stepping out. I'm definitely overstepping there. Stepping out of my circle of, not competence, but area where I'm pretty certain of what I've seen, what I've read, what I've correlated with the literature on narcissism. But this one I can't pinpoint because it's pretty hard to figure it out. All the lies, all the things they keep hidden, those aren't easily outed. It's hard to figure those things out. But again and again, with narcissists I've personally known, I've seen how unfaithful they are, and I've always gotten that feeling. They just have to get back at everyone who they are dependent upon, because it enrages and infuriates them how dependent and how weak they really are. And whether it's employer, whether it's their spouse, whether it's their children, they've got to figure a way to one-up them, and worse than that, really have a hold on them to destroy them long term and make them feel bad. Now with an employer it's a little different, because you step out of line, you get canned. And they don't like that. But that's just another thing that drives them to try to get one over on their employer as well. I've seen that again and again. They get a supply from it, but they also hold them in defiance, because they want to be an authority, but they need to defy authorities themselves because they're too good. We have to listen to them. We have to do what we're told, but not them, because they're better than us. Anyway, I veered off in this video, but I hope you liked this video. I hope it sheds some light on a topic I've decidedly ignored because I just don't like talking about it. But it's really important. I hope you liked it. If you do, share it with somebody you think might benefit from it. Comment in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.